Let me give a little bit of a background as to what this is and how this started for me, what channeling is. Is anyone here not familiar with channeling at all? A few people? Okay. Most channeling, at least of this particular nature, as far as I understand it in my experience with some of the other people that I know, are the product of an agreement or an arrangement that has been made very often in the subconscious mind, sometimes in this life, sometimes before this life. Your life will then contain whatever kinds of circumstances it needs to contain to get you to remember that you made this agreement, to give you the abilities to fulfill the agreement. So, of course, it's different for everyone in terms of how they get there. For me, this began about 19 years ago, when on two different occasions within the same week, with 4 friends present with me the first time and 2 friends present with me the second time, we had very, very close broad daylight sightings of a UFO over Los Angeles. The first time about 150 feet away and the second time about 70 feet away. Both times in excess of 30 seconds, of a dark metallic triangular shaped ship. Now, what I didn't know then was anything much about UFOs, but after seeing something like that, I got all excited to find out more about them, and I started doing a lot of research. And as I did more research, I found out that especially back then, 19 years ago, a lot of other metaphysical subjects were lumped together on bookshelves with UFOs. Eventually, I ran across the concept of channeling, and I was introduced to several channels 10 years after the sighting who were practicing at the time. After listening to one of those channels for quite some time, to examine the information coming through that channel from the entity that that person was channeling, the entity offered to teach channeling for whoever was interested. I went into the class situation not so much thinking I was going to become a channel. I just wanted to learn more about it because still there were not very many books on the subject. Then I wanted to see how something like channeling could be taught. During the class, which was basically a series of guided meditations to increase one's sensitivity to other levels of consciousness, I received, about halfway through the course, what I perceived to be a telepathic communication from Bashar and his people, the entity that I channel now. At that one particular moment that the communication came through, I remembered the agreement that I had made with them prior to this life to do this. I understood that the ship sighting had been his ship shown to me for the purpose of jogging my memory to start learning the things I needed to learn to prepare me 10 years after the sighting to start the channeling. I remember dream encounters I had had with them for years that I had blocked or had been blocked from my conscious memory that were also for the purpose of preparing me to do the channeling. All of that came back in 1 second. What came with it was what appeared to be a real-time telepathic message, which basically was, now you remember you made the agreement. Do you still want to do it? Because it was offered as a choice, it's never something that's forced on anyone. I had to think about it for a while because I wanted to make sure that what I was hearing in my head was not just some sort of hallucinatory side effect of the meditation, that it wasn't just my imagination, that I wasn't going crazy hearing voices. After a while, I got enough unsolicited outside validation that what was happening was, at least on some level, real, and that the information that could come through could have validity. So I began to go ahead and let the channeling happen, just trusting that it would grow as it needed to. That was 9 years ago. I've been channeling for the last 9 years. Now, Bashar presents himself as an extraterrestrial consciousness. The information he has shared says that they do have physicality. I have my own validations with regard to the ship sightings and so on that make me feel that he is a distinct and separate persona. But I have no way of really proving this to you, and that really isn't the point. Therefore, the thing that I really like to stress, especially to people that are new to Bashar for the first time, is that there is absolutely nothing about this channeling that you in any way, shape, or form have to believe that Bashar is real, that he exists separately from my own consciousness, because I have no way of really proving this, and that's not really what's important. What's important is the information. It seems to present itself in this way. It seems to be the way the information has to come through. If it's just another aspect of my consciousness, then for some reason it needs to present itself in this way as a separate identity in order to allow the information to be accessed. But the thing that does seem to happen is that the information that is accessed is of a broader perspective and in many cases a deeper insight than what we usually encounter on a day-to-day level, the way we go about living our daily lives. And it does seem to have the ability to help us change our lives in the way we really want to, very quickly and very powerfully. So for that reason, we keep doing it, because the information seems to work. If in the course of this exchange you find that the information does have merit for you, you feel it strikes a chord, use it in your life, you will probably see the result. If you feel it's not your cup of tea, I know you will get what you need somewhere else. But most people who experience the information usually have said that it does in fact make an actual physical difference in their lives in terms of the quality of their lives and getting the things that they really desire. Now, just to give a little bit of a background on Bashar himself, the word Bashar, just in dealing with him as if he really is a separate entity, is not actually his name. In their society, as he's explained it, they're relatively telepathic at this stage in their evolution. They don't have names as such, but he knew that we needed something to call him by. And the word itself is Arabic. He chose it because that's partly my background, and it has a lot to do with my connections to him and a lot of other things that are not really important for this information. But Bashar itself, as an Arabic word, is appropriate for what he's doing because among many other meanings, it simply means messenger, and that's really what he's doing, is functioning as a messenger. Now, I don't speak Arabic, but the word was there as soon as the contact was made, and someone told me what it meant, and it was obviously appropriate to what he's doing. The channeling phenomena itself has been pretty well documented as an actual attribute that people have. Whether or not you want to believe that the channeling phenomena is connecting us to other beings on other planes or other dimensions is really not the point. The channeling itself seems to be an ability for us to open up to higher information. And as I understand channeling, I would like to give a little bit of a description of what I think it is, because there's a lot of misconceptions about what goes on when a person channels. There never has been, and is not now, really any such thing, as I understand it, as what we've been terming possession. There is no inhabitation of the body or any such thing. These are kind of outmoded ideas about the whole concept of what channeling is, or connecting to other consciousness forms. What's really going on here is kind of a sympathetic, vibrational, telepathic link-up. The direct analogy, the closest analogy I can think of, is if you have two tuning forks. And if you start one vibrating and they are pitched according to each other, the other one will start vibrating in harmonic resonance. This is kind of what I've been trained to do. I allow myself to go into an appropriate state that allows my consciousness, my brain wave frequencies, to actually elevate. And this has been measured on EEG scans. It gets about 3 to 4 times the rate of normal activity. And when it reaches that pitch, what I'm assuming is happening is that Bashar, in his dimension, in his realm, is lowering his pitch. And somewhere we meet in the middle. That third harmonic resonance, where we lock and synchronize, is what allows you to perceive his thought patterns made out of my energy here. It's automatically being translated into the language that I'm programmed with, which is English. He's not actually speaking any language at all. It's just an automatic side effect of locking in to the vibration of his consciousness. So he senses us, but does not see us directly, but the words that you share in the questions are translated back through my brain to the concepts that he understands. Now, in this interaction, as Eva said, he will probably come through and talk for about 10 minutes on what he feels is something that may be beneficial for you as a general principle that you can apply in your lives, and then he will open it up to sharing. When he actually says, "How may I be of service?" or sharing, that's basically the cue for the questioners to come up one at a time and ask what you want. Now, you can ask anything you want. It doesn't matter what the subject is. Bashar has really said that as far as he's concerned, there's no such thing as a silly or a stupid question. If it's something that's really important to you, by all means, bring it up. The more fun you bring to the interaction, the more fun he's able to reflect back to you. He's a very light being, but he's also a very strong being full of conviction, so he's very direct. Those that are not familiar with him, you will notice that there is a very strong shift in personality. What you will see me go through is something that is simply representative of the energy shifts that are going on because of the link-up. The only reason I'm saying what I'm saying now is because a lot of people have asked me if, when I go through the transition, if I'm in pain, because I know sometimes it looks like I am. I am not experiencing any pain at all. This is always very energizing for me. When I am in the actual state where Bashar is speaking, I do not hear the words. For me, it's like being lost in a daydream. I see pictures that I think are representative of the basic concepts he's talking about. I feel energy flowing through me, and I feel the emotional shifts that go along with the conversation, but I don't hear the words. But it takes me a minute to get into that state. There will be a break, and then he will come back and do another half, and he will say goodbye. At the break, when I am coming out of the state, or at the end when I am coming out of the state, I just ask you if you will just remain quiet until I speak to you as myself. It takes me just a minute to reorient and remember not only where I am, but literally who I am. And if you all start talking all at once when he says take a break or he says good night, it's a little bit jarring for me. So I'll just ask you to remain quiet until I speak to you as myself. I will probably ask you how everything's going. And then it's okay to get up and move around, and I would appreciate that. I don't think there's anything else I basically need to say at this particular moment. So we'll just go ahead and start. And I would like to thank you very much for being here and having me here in Melbourne. Please do enjoy the encounter. That's really what it's for. So I'll see you later.
Let us say good day to you this day of your time. How are you? We will begin this interaction by first of all extending to each and every one of you, individually and collectively, our deepest appreciation at co-creating this form of interaction, so that our civilization and your civilization may, day by day and bit by bit, create a third reality in which we may interact within what you would call 10 to 15 of your years of counting. Your energy will have shifted to the point, our energy will have shifted to the point where this common reality we are co-creating this day will allow our species to interact face-to-face with your species. That day that we are working towards doesn't mean that this is the primary purpose of our interaction with you. It is not for the purpose of interacting with us bodily that we interact with you. It is for the purpose of allowing you to know, by allowing us to reflect to you, that you are the creators of your realities, and that you can create the kind of realities that you so desire. Our interest in doing this is because should you decide, as individuals and as a collective society, to choose to operate your planet closer to the vibration that our civilization operates on, then together, in playing, in working, in interacting together, we will be able to accomplish and discover far more than we would as individual civilizations, and this increases and enhances our abilities as well. So we do have an interest in the choices that you make upon your planet, but we cannot in any way, shape, or form tell you what to do. We can only reflect to you what is possible based on our evolutionary experience and based on our perception of where we believe your planetary energy is heading. But it is still up to you to decide what to do upon your world. We can only suggest to you how you might be able to make it run more smoothly, if you so desire. But this will be up to you. But nevertheless, we thank you for this opportunity, for it will make a difference within you, within us, within all that is. The main principle that we have to share, to aid and assist you in learning how to, in remembering how to create your reality to be more smooth, more joyful, more energetic. The main principles will be based upon the idea of your imagination and understanding the imagination's part in how you experience your physiological reality. These concepts, many of you have heard them from time to time, coming from various sources of information, but these concepts really are far more than just what you might term in your language, airy philosophy. Many times you are left with the idea, well, just love each other and everything will be all right, but you don't really understand what that means in a down-to-earth, as you say, pragmatic, practical sense. This does you no good if you do not understand how to apply these ideas in your day-to-day living. if you're not taught how to understand this from mechanical points of view. The whole idea that we will be discussing about your imagination and unconditional love and action and vision and emotion and how all these things interact to form the mechanism of your creativity. These things will always, by us, be grounded in practical physics, because that is really where you then get your hands on these concepts and can allow them to work for you in your life in an obvious, physical manner, rather than allowing them to be left up in the realm of the clouds, which so often they are on your planet. The main principle, the main tool that exists within each and every one of you, within every being in creation, the main tool that allows you to create the realities you want is a three-part process. Very simple, really, but yet can be very difficult based upon the belief systems that you have all been brought up to believe, that very often get in your way and filter the true abilities that you have to create the realities you desire. This three-part tool is basically as follows: vision, emotion, and action. Or, if you wish, see it, feel it, and be it. Again, this sounds perhaps simple, but understand it from the following point of view, and perhaps it will shed some light. The idea is that if there is a reality that you prefer to live, if there is something in your life that is far more exciting than what it is you feel you are encountering or experiencing now in your reality, there is something very important to understand about this idea called excitement. What you call excitement, this visceral feeling of joy, of anticipation, of curiosity, this physical, emotional impact, this vibration called excitement, is actually, literally, the vibration of your true self as you were originally created to be. Very often when we interact with members of your society, or when we, shall we say, tap into your collective consciousness telepathically, we very often hear many of you praying to the heavens, oh please, why am I here? Give me a sign. What is my purpose in life? What is my mission? What's going on? Show me the way. Always you get the answer. The thing that excites you the most in life is your true self. And by acting on it, pay attention, by acting on it with unconditional faith, it will always, underline that word always as many times as you care to, always support you most effortlessly, most creatively, and most, yes, and we know this is important to your society, abundantly. Always. There are no exceptions. This mechanism always works. However, you have been taught to not allow it to work, based on the belief systems that very often you have been brought up to believe, and over thousands upon thousands of years of believing these belief systems, you have, shall we say, allowed rust to enter your mechanism of creation. The ideas that we will be discussing this day of your time is to allow you to lubricate that mechanism once again, to allow it to operate smoothly, as it did when you were children, until you were taught out of the things that all children know: how to have a vision, how to have a feeling, and how to act out in your physical reality those dreams and desires that are real to you then, but which, as you are growing up in your society, are taught to believe are just fantasies and not part of the real world. Oh, stop acting like a child. Oh, grow up. Oh, you can't do that now. Oh, stop being such a dreamer. Oh, that's not the way it is in the real world. These ideas are forced upon you, pounded into you over and over again until you believe them, until that becomes the real reality that you experience, and your dreams dissolve and fade. Until you get to a point where you don't even allow yourselves to remember you even had the dreams at all. You don't even remember what it's like to really have childlike excitement and knowledge and action and emotion and feel. These things we choose to help you reawaken within yourself, because this really is the mechanism of creation. If there is something that excites you more than anything else, all you really have to do, and again, this may sound like a simplification, but we will examine this in detail if you wish, through your questions. All you have to do to manifest that exciting dream, that exciting life, that exciting reality, is the three-part tool. See it, first of all. Step one. Daydream it. See it. As you say in your language, in vivid, living color. In your imagination. See it. See yourself living that life. In the full ecstatic way that you would want to be living it. Allow yourself to truly see every aspect of it, of you doing that thing, and observe how it is you are acting in that vision that might be different from the way you act in your daily life. Because the difference is the whole reason why you're not getting that reality. Feeling it. Step two. If you see yourself in that reality, the reality that you know would be the most exciting one you could possibly be living, then you would be excited about it if you really believed that was real, that was really you. If you were really already doing that thing and living that way, you would be excited and joyful and peaceful and balanced all the time. So allowing yourself to feel excited, let the emotional pitch rise within you when you see that vision, when you have that dream, is important, because emotion is the energy activation principle. Emotion, energy motion. You must bring that pitch up, that vibration up, so that you can then activate the blueprint of the imagination, of the picture you see of your exciting reality. Step three. Now, strangely enough, most strange to us, step three seems to be the most difficult of all for your species to do. But the reason it is strange to us is because most of the things that cause the difficulties in your reality is because you are so locked into the concept of being physical. And yet, step three, being the idea of simply physically acting out the vision that you see, seems to be where you all hesitate. Such physical beings hesitating to act physically. This is very confusing to us. Nevertheless, this is the third component, and perhaps for you the most important one, because after you have the vision of the exciting reality, and after you have brought to bear your emotional energy to raise your pitch, to allow it to come into manifestation, all you need to do to bring it into your physicality is to literally, once again, there's that word, literally, in every way, shape, and form that you can, mimic physically the actions you see yourself doing in your imagination. Copy yourself. Watch that you. Look at the body language. Watch the things that you says. Watch the things that you does. Look at the places that you go. Allow yourself to mock up, mimic, create as close an approximation as you can of that reality. If you have to borrow an environment, if you have to, in that sense, build an environment that is as close a representation of the environment in your exciting dream as you can, do it and go through the motions literally. When you do this, you are actually training your body consciousness to get used to the idea of giving off the vibration of that reality. And when you do that, you send out a signal that then is reflected back to you in the form of opportunities and synchronous situations that allow you then to act upon them and actually bring into your life the things in your dream. This principle works. This is simply physics. There is nothing mysterious about this at all. 1, 2, 3. It does create your reality. You do this all the time anyway, but the whole point is that most of you are doing it unconsciously. And in doing it unconsciously, very often you are allowing belief systems that you don't prefer to leak into the formula and become manifested in ways that you don't prefer your life to manifest. Allowing yourself to understand this mechanism of creation consciously and using it consciously is the way to clear out all of the old ideas that you no longer wish to see manifesting in your reality. Lack of abundance, lack of creativity, lack of love. All these ideas are the product of you using this mechanism, but using it unconsciously in a negative way. This is really very simple. Really very simple. We will again extend into details of this mechanism in some of the various interactions we will have this day of your time. And perhaps bit by bit, you will see more clearly how you can allow this mechanism into your life consciously and how you can really change and transform the quality of your lives. Very simply. Very simply. It is up to you. We will once again extend to you at this time our deepest appreciation of being allowed to interact with you in this way and reflect to each and every one of you what you already know. In return for the gift you have given us of allowing us to experience your unique manifestation of all that is, I ask you now, in what way may I be of service to you? You may begin with sharing if you wish. Speak up and be bold so that all may share. Yes, good day to you.
Hi, my name's Simone.
All right.
It's great to be here.
We are happy you are there.
Thank you. A friend and I have been practicing channeling for about...
Practicing channeling, yes.
For about 5 years.
Okay.
We found it to be very helpful, and we've been aware that a lot of the information we've been channeling has been coming from parts of ourselves or the synergy of us both together.
Yes.
But just recently, we were contacted by an energy that identified itself as AJL and seemed to be doing what we were doing in his own particular way and accidentally had tapped into us and said that he wanted to know more about what we were doing. I wondered if you could expand on that.
One moment. Was there a particular time of day that this occurred?
It was in the evening, around 9 p.m. I'd say.
It is our perception that what you are tapping into is a kind of consciousness stream. A consciousness stream that is representative of an archetypal strata in the collective consciousness of your world, the non-physical collective consciousness of your world. There are many beings, when they become non-physical, that gravitate towards certain strata or vibrations of consciousness. You are familiar with the flow and ebb of certain streams of energy from past lives, from past experiences, and have, through this familiarity, allowed yourself to tap into this collective strata, which is more than willing to interact with you. It is a collective strata that is relatively light in energy and can actually provide access to certain kinds of information that has to do with many individuals, many points of view and perspectives of life. Is there a particular way in which you wish to use this information?
I haven't really thought about that yet. I was just excited about the interview itself, and we've only spoken to it once.
How are you sharing the information that you are accessing in your life? What would excite you the most?
Oh, just to know more about this entity and to exchange information.
You will always know more about it, but the easiest way to know more about it is to do something with it. What would you like to do? You always learn more in the doing.
I just contact more regularly via the channeling.
And do what with the information? Do you share this information with other members of your society?
A couple, yes.
Just a couple? Do you not think that more individuals could benefit from this information? Is there any particular way you would like to put this information out?
Actually, I probably hadn't thought about that because I didn't know if it was real.
Real? It does not really matter in that sense because everything is real. Everything. You cannot imagine non-reality. There may be realities that are not necessarily immediately applicable to your particular dimension of experience, But you cannot imagine non-reality, and everything you do imagine is on some level, somewhere, somewhen, somehow, a real reality. So, the idea is, do you feel that the information has creative merit?
Absolutely.
Well then, how would you like to use it?
I really didn't think about it, but
Well,
I
you
can
can
do
go
it.
think about it now if you wish. Allow yourself to open up, and I will make a suggestion for you if you wish. Over the next 3 nights of your time, ask your guide for assistance in showing you, in your dreams, how you can use this information in the most beneficial and creative way that is relevant for you. All right?
Fantastic, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hello, Bashar.
And good day to you.
And good day to you. My question is in regard to healing.
Healing, yes.
I was wondering how your culture perceives healing of the self, and as far as your cultures heal others.
All
and
right.
what relevant information you can share as
All
far
right.
as healing in
Yes.
our humanity.
Yes, thank you. All right. The idea of healing, of course, is always that it is self-healing. In a sense, no one heals anyone else. But what a healer does is the following thing. A healer provides a kind of vibrational atmosphere, a bubble reality, if you will, in which is contained a certain pitch or vibration that is representative of the centered self. The centered self cannot experience dis-ease of any kind. So the healer radiates this vibration and attracts unto him or her individuals that are appropriate to be attracted to that healer so they can be immersed in that vibration. Then it is up to that individual that wishes to be healed to allow themselves to match the vibration of the healer, and in so matching that vibration, take themselves back to the center of their being and heal themselves automatically, or over whatever period of time their belief system is comfortable with. Now, do understand also that just because an individual may attract themselves to a healer and not be healed, that does not mean that it was not an appropriate interaction. It does not mean that the healer has failed. Sometimes, again, because of the particular belief systems that an individual may be exploring, they may attract themselves to a healer specifically for the purpose of not being healed, just so they can justify being sick. This will happen very often. So as a healer, you never have to feel bad about not being able to do enough. Whoever is attracted into your reality is getting exactly what they want out of it, or they would have been attracted to someone else. Because there are no accidents in that sense. So, do your best. Give that vibration, unconditional love, creativity, and joy, and be a healer in exactly and precisely the way your excitement wants you to be. And you can then know and relax into the understanding that you are doing exactly what you need to do for whomever might be attracted to you. Regardless of what the effect on the surface may be, they are getting exactly what they need. Do you understand what we have said? Does this describe the idea sufficiently for you?
Yes, that's excellent. I just have one extra question.
All right.
In relation to connecting in with that centeredness, that unconditional love, what can healers or other people who wish to connect in with that vibration do to focus?
Well, there are many things. But again, the easiest thing, since we do prefer to simplify, is always at any given moment, once again, do the thing at that moment. Out of all the options you have before you, do the thing at that moment that is the most exciting thing you are capable of acting on. Act on it with full integrity, full trust, and that vibration of excitement in and of itself will center you immediately, instantly. You understand?
Yes.
That really is the simplest and strongest mechanism. When we say do what excites you the most, you don't have to have an overall, overriding, life-spanning career that excites you to simply at any given moment do the thing that excites you the most. All excitement is a thread that is connected to all the other things in your life that will be exciting. No matter how it appears on the surface, whether you think it's connected to where you're going or not, don't go by the appearance. Go by the feeling of the level of excitement it contains. That's what lets you know that's the thing you need to do, and that will be the thing that will lead you where you need to be led in the smoothest, quickest, and most abundant fashion. You follow along?
Yes.
Does that help explain it sufficiently for you at this time?
It certainly does. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you very much. Well, good day.
Pleasure to interact with you again.
All right. Speak up and be bold so that all may hear what you have to share, for everything everyone says is a gift.
One of the things I have just a thought in the back of my mind, I understand Epithani and Earth are connected in a triad with another planet. Is that
Serious. One moment. What he has referred to as Epithani is in our ancient remnant language the name of our planet, just so you would not be confused. Yes, Sirius, Earth, and Epithani are in a triad, each helping each other up the ladder, as you say, in their evolutionary process. At other times, Earth is connected to other civilizations energetically. At other times, so are we. Right now, it serves the purpose of your particular style of evolution and ours and Sirius's to be interlocked together in this particular moment of transformation.
I understand your ability to perceive, in perceiving our energy as possibly a lot more efficient in my consciousness, being able to access what I need to know next, and I'd love to share that with you.
Would you please say that again?
Okay. I recognize the limitations of our consciousness through the belief systems we operate to access what we need to know next, or what would be the best thing for the most appropriate information for us to know. And so I wonder if you, through your ability to perceive beyond those and the group mind and so on, to be able to choose what we need to hear next.
May I ask you a question? Sure. With what faculty did you recognize that this is what you needed?
That's a good question.
The same faculty will tell you exactly what you need to know next. You have the ability to access everything. Everything you want in your life. Everything that is pertinent to you. Use the same faculty that you use to recognize that you have limitations. Follow along?
Yes.
Does that help you?
Very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You see, the idea is that you have been told that you are only using a small portion of your brain. This is not so. It is simply that you are using, shall we say, 90% to make it seem as if you're only using the other 10. You are a 100% being all the time. You're using all of it. It's just that you're hiding portions of the activity from yourself through your amazing creativity. Does this help? Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well,
may I first say greetings to the Bashar.
and greetings to you.
I was very overwhelmed by one of your books about 2 years ago, and since then there's been an overwhelming meeting with celestial beings in dreams. I would like to know what is the message between I and them.
That the connections that you recognize, each and every one of you, that may awaken to some of the connections that you have to other levels of consciousness, other civilizations, if you wish to call it that, is there for you to take that vibration and not run away from the earth back to that vibration, which may feel like home, but to bring that feeling down to earth in whatever way, shape, or form your imagination will allow, so as to help transform the vibration of the earth into that home, and thus bring home to you. That is always the fundamental message of recognizing a connection that you may have to other levels of consciousness, other realms, or other civilizations of which you may have a connection. Follow along?
Yes, thank you so much. Just one last question
Yes.
I'd like to ask you, Bashar. Inherently, within I kind of feel there's a celestial name that I'm meant to ask you that belongs to I. Do you have any knowledge of this, please?
No. Not at this time. It is not our domain to answer that. It is more the domain of your own guide. We cannot interfere with this because there is still a process that needs to happen before that information can be accessed and we cannot interfere.
Okay then. Thank you so much. Blessings to thee.
We thank you very much.
Hi, Bashar, I'm Ian.
To you, good day.
Good day. I'd like to clear my energy in a big way.
Oh, a big way.
A real big way.
All right. Clear it of what?
Any obstruction that might be there.
Any obstruction that might be there?
That is there.
All right. Let's clear the first obstruction out of the way right now, shall we? Are you ready?
Indeed.
Are you sure?
Indeed.
All right. Let's clear away the belief that you have an obstruction at all. I will simply say this to you, for this is the thing that probably can help you the best. The greatest act of spirituality any of you can have is to simply live your physical life to the fullest, to the best that you can at any given moment. If you are doing your best to the best of your knowledge, you're doing just fine. By doing that, you will automatically always attract yourself into the appropriate situation to show you if there really is something that you need to clear. You never have to guess. You never have to wonder. You never have to worry that there might be an obstruction that you can't clear out, because your life has been designed to show them all to you, just in the living of it. It's so beautifully and flawlessly designed that way. You understand?
Yeah, I do.
So you never really have to wonder. The first step is to recognize that nothing is really an obstacle. It is simply an arrow pointing in an unexpected direction. So, the main key is to understand that everything in your reality is the product of how you have been taught to define it to be. If you define it as an obstacle, it is such. If you define it as an unexpected opportunity, it is such, and will manifest itself as such. Because only by the assignment of meaning into a fundamentally neutral situation do you glean an effect from it. No reality has meaning built in. No situation has its own automatic effect. The only way you experience effect in your reality is by the definitions you have been taught to automatically and unconsciously assign to what appears in front of you. Whatever meaning you assign to it, whatever kind of meaning you assign to it, is exactly what it will be reflective of. So the first step is to recognize that, and in any situation that you may have previously decided was an obstacle, to step back, say, wait a minute, I can choose to believe it is an opportunity. I may not intellectually understand all the details of how this might be so right now, but I can still know beyond a shadow of a doubt that it must be for a positive reason, and that eventually I will understand how this is so, to the degree that I need to. How do I know this? Because I say so. That's why. Because there is nothing in creation that can contradict you. That's why. Because you have been given free will to make choices. That's why. Does that help clarify the situation and the mechanism to some degree?
Yes, it does.
Is this sufficient, or is there something else you'd like to explore?
Something else, but I don't know what it is.
All right. Then when you find out what it is, I will be happy to discuss it with you.
Well, I can get to it pretty quickly.
Oh, all right.
It's,
Then when you find out what it is, I will be happy to discuss it with you.
Well, I can get to it pretty quickly.
Oh, all right.
It's, I was feeling, I was wondering, can you sing? Do you sing?
In our reality, yes, we do.
Would you sing for us now?
Ilia karema shema shana oa tua cheovana. Ilia karema shema shana oa tua ha'alana. Will that do?
Thank you, Bashar.
Fool, you see your own face. The experience of one is the experience of all. All are one within love. I did not write it, but thank you very much. It is a very, very ancient song in our civilization. Very ancient song. Will this do?
Yes, thank you, Bashar.
Thank you very much.
Assalamu alaikum, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
I had to say that.
Oh, all right, if you had to. If that was the most exciting thing, thank you.
Yeah, that song actually made me.
Made you, haha, all right.
I'm not really sure. I've sat there while all the questions were coming through and I really couldn't think of anything that I particularly wanted to know, so I'm thinking of a lot of friends that are asking me questions.
Yes, but you do not need a question to talk with us. You can make a statement, share an idea. That would be delightful. We're not here just to answer questions, but to be equals with you. Is there anything you would like to discuss?
Yeah, probably the most important to me at the moment would be the ascension.
Ascension.
Yeah,
yes.
if you could explain.
Exciting concept, is it not?
Very.
Ascension is basically a raising of your vibration to a higher pitch. It is going on now for all of you. Will be going on for quite some time. Some individuals will go a little bit faster than others, but you will all generally ascend together, except of course for those that do not choose to.
Okay.
Is there something that you wish to share about the concept of ascension?
A few friends are actually thinking that maybe they've already got to maybe fourth dimension already. Would that be so, do you think? Is there people now?
Are they wondering if they have?
Well, no, actually they're feeling it pretty
Thank you.
100%, yeah.
All right. Many of you are operating more and more in fourth density. There will be many, many, many more things that will happen that will allow you to know that there is a higher pitch or frequency to fourth density, but many of you are starting to operate in fourth density almost exclusively. Yes, this is true.
Okay.
But there will be many more things that can happen that will allow you to know you are just at the beginning. At the very beginning.
Okay, yeah, I can understand that too.
All right. Is there anything else?
I'm not sure how to put this one. I actually saw something on a piece of paper that someone was looking at before that had a picture of human, Esasani and Grey.
Yes.
Could you fill us in a little bit more on that, please?
There are many things happening now, interactions between a civilization from the star system Zeta Reticulum that you call the Grey, interacting with your human species on Earth now. There are many, many levels to this interaction going on. Much of this information will generally, not specifically, generally be public knowledge sometime between your October 1992 and October 1993, and much of your civilization will then realize that you have been generally in contact with this other civilization for quite some time. What is generally going on is the creation of a hybridization, a new race that is a combination of both human and Zeta Reticulum. We are one offshoot of that race in that we are now speaking to you from what you would consider to be a future time, in a sense, and we are the product of some of that hybridization. There are other civilizations that are also involved, but we are one of the results. In this way, this aspect of what is going on could be said to be being created to assist you in elevating yourselves into the more pure fourth density state, as we are now functioning as reflections of something similar to what you will become as a civilization eventually. Is there anything else you wish to discuss about this particular kind of interactivity going on your planet at this time?
Just that a lot of the things that are coming to me, either through lectures I'm going to, or books or tapes that are being lent to me, or movies that are being brought home and put on in my home or whatever, it sort of tends to be that the Greys tend to be not so good guys.
Not so good guys. All right. The understanding, of course, is that there are also many factions within the Grey civilization. For those that are not familiar, the term grey simply refers to the skin coloration of the beings that are approximately 1 meter in height. The idea also is that you must understand they are a hive mentality, a mass mind. They do not really have a strong understanding yet of your individual action ability. In that sense, they are to some degree a little bit afraid of you. And in this sense, they recognize that you're also beings of great fear, that you have many fears within you. What they do to control the situation is to amplify with their mental abilities the fears within you, and that fear rigidizes you so you cannot move in those interactions, causing even more fear, which they use to amplify to control you, so that they feel safe in those interactions because you are unpredictable to them. Secondly, they are a being that does not really understand emotionality as you express it as an individual. You are, in that sense, a wild card to them, and they cannot really understand the concept of individual emotionality, so they may seem cold to you, unfeeling to you. It is simply an alien concept to them. There are many things that they are doing that they believe are beneficial and cannot really understand all the fuss that you are putting up. Think also in terms of some of the ideas of how your human species treats animals. And you will understand that very often you are just as thoughtless of the animals as you feel the greys are of you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can relate to that.
In many ways, they actually see you in a similar light. It is mostly because they are truly alien to you in many ways. 180 degrees, your opposite, in many ways. And there are many blendings that need to take place before you can really understand each other. But one of the strongest blendings is the hybridization itself. For in those beings, such as myself, is the blending and the balancing of the idea of the group mind with the individual expression as well. You understand?
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good evening.
And good day to you.
This is first for me, so it's pretty wild for me.
Oh, all right. It's always pretty wild for us, too.
I'm probably going to ask you a question that you probably won't. Nothing like what anyone else has asked. So.
It does not matter.
Doesn't matter, any question?
Any question that you really feel is what you want to ask.
I'm going to ask you about business. Do you want to hear about that?
Business, yes, all right, business.
Right. Personal business. I've got two business propositions I'm doing at the moment.
Yes.
And I'm wondering if you can answer, are they both going to happen, or do you do that?
All right. What I will do is this. Pay attention, all right?
Yes.
All right. Are you doing the business that excites you the most or not?
No.
It will not happen then. Because more and more in this day and age, as the collective energy of your civilization accelerates, it will become more and more and more and more and more difficult to do anything that is not in alignment with your true vibration. And that is actually a help to you. Because then you get to see the things that really mean that's not what you should be doing. And move only in the direction of your joy and excitement. There I can guarantee 100%, if you move in a business direction that is representative of what you would really prefer to be doing, you will always be absolutely successful. But if you are not moving in that direction, you are going to spend a lot of time learning a lot of lessons until finally you get tired of that enough where you will finally say, all right, I will just do what I really want to do, and I will finally trust that it will be successful. You follow along?
Yes. Maybe I said that wrong. The things that I'm doing are steps to do the things I want to do.
No. All right. We understand what you mean by that, and it can be that some of those steps are necessary. However, the guiding principle should always be the overview that really excites you the most. If you always act on the most exciting thing you can do, whatever really needs to be the steps will automatically be there. The steps that don't need to be there, that aren't exciting, will not be there, and you don't need to act on them. There are far fewer details very often that really need to be acted upon by you than you think. Allow yourself to act on always the most exciting thing of any kind, at any given moment that you are most capable of acting upon. When you do that, it will connect you to the things you need to be connected to be successful at the business too. Even if what excites you at the moment doesn't seem connected to your business, the excitement lets you know it is if you have a business that is the most exciting thing you can think of to do. Is this making some sense to you? I'll give you an example if you wish, to bring it down, as you say, to earth. All right?
Yeah.
All right. Let us say that there is this very exciting thing that you would love to do. But you don't necessarily really have an opportunity to really fully act on it in the way that you would really find most exciting. And so you think, well, in order to get there, I must do step A, step B, step C. Now, these things are not really very exciting to me, but I have to do them because that's the only way I know how to get there. The only way I know how to be involved in that kind of business, and that would really be exciting. And so you're on your way, walking down your street, on your way to accomplish step A, not feeling very excited about it, but nevertheless thinking that you have to do it that way. And you run into a friend of yours. And the friend says, oh, well, good day to you. Would you like to have some lunch with me? And you say, well, you know, out of all the options and opportunities I have at my disposal at this particular moment, that is actually the most exciting thing I can think of to do, but I don't really have time because I have to go and do this thing, step A, and then step B, and step C, or I won't get an opportunity to do the thing that really excites me. Oh, well, you have to eat, you know, says the friend. Well, yes, I know, and that really is more exciting. Well, maybe just a little bit, but I can't be late. I can't be late. If I am, I will not be able to do this step A, even though it's not really exciting. And if I don't do step A, even though it's not really exciting, I'll never get to do what really excites me. But I'll have a little lunch with you, just for a little while, but don't keep me long. And so you act on it, and you go to lunch, and you're having such a wonderful time, and you're talking, and you're enjoying yourself, and you don't notice the passage of time, and all of a sudden you realize, oh no! I am late. I have missed step A. It is now impossible for me to do. I am ruined. I will never get to do that exciting thing because I could not accomplish the steps I think I needed to accomplish. And as you sit there with your head in your hands, feeling sorry, feeling miserable, along comes a friend of your friend and sits down with you and says, hello, hello, nice to meet you here. Who's your sad-looking friend? And the friend explains the whole situation, and you chime in and says, yes, 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 I was on my way to do this thing, and the new friend says, well, you don't sound very excited about doing those things. Well, no, I'm not, but you see, they, I think, will lead me to the situation that will allow me to do this very exciting thing here. What? What did you say, says the new friend? Well, this is what I'm really excited about, but I have to do this in order to get there. Wait a minute, what a coincidence. What an amazing coincidence. I happen to be involved in that kind of business, and I was looking for a partner. You say that's what you want to do? Let's join forces. How exciting that would be to find you here. I thought I had to go through a process of interviews, and that wasn't exciting for me. But here I find a friend of my friend is exactly involved in what I want to be involved in. What a wonderful coincidence. Fairy tale? Fantasy? Life doesn't work that way. That's too simple. Oh, come on. That's just a fantasy. No. That's the way life works when you let it. If you act on the most exciting thing at every given moment. You don't always need all the details you think. If you move in the direction of your excitement, you will always be led into the appropriate circumstances to allow you to really fulfill what you need to fulfill very often, far more quickly than the way you assumed you needed to go. This includes the concept of abundance. Because abundance, even though we recognize you have what you call money on your planet as a medium of exchange, is not the only way to represent abundance. And this same idea, this same assumption that very often gets in your way of other forms of success, gets in your way in experiencing abundance in your lives. Our definition of abundance is as follows. Abundance. The ability to do what you need to do when you need to do it, period. That's it. The ability to do what you need to do when you need to do it, period. Not a second sooner, but not a second later. Very often, money may be one of the ways that you can represent abundance on your planet, but it may not always be the best way, the quickest way, the easiest way. If you have been taught to insist that abundance can only be represented by the idea of money, then you close and lock all the other doors through which other forms of abundance could come. Someone might want to just give you something. Someone might want to trade you something. You never know. That might have been quicker, easier. Case in point in the story we just told. Allow all the ways abundance can come to you to come to you. Whatever money needs to be there, whatever form of abundance needs to be represented by money, it will be there. If you allow all the abundance doors to be open so that all the methods can come, then whatever amount of money does come is enough. And the abundance, the rest of the abundance, will come in all the other ways that it can. And remember, No one ever has more than they need, ever. What you call rich individuals have exactly the amount that is representative of the expanded level they are willing to act upon, to act as though, to act as that rich, abundant being in thought, word, and deed. And remember also that a truly successful and rich individual does not hold on to abundance. Abundance flows through them and interconnects into the society. They are conduits of abundance, not hoarders of it. Do these concepts help shed some light on the whole concept of business upon your planet?
Talking about
Yes.
No, you've totally confused me. No.
Good. Perhaps that is the first step in the correct
Another
direction.
question maybe is, the spiritual thing's new to me, and that's where I want to go.
Yes, but again, as we have said, the biggest act, the fullest act of spirituality is just to live your physical life as best as you can by doing the things that excite you the most. That's how you can be the most spiritual being, how you can fulfill your purpose and your destiny in life. It really is your purpose and destiny to live your life to the fullest. Because even though you are all reincarnational beings and have many lives, you are only going to be this you once. This you only does have one life to live. You've never been this you before. You will never be this you again. Therefore, the fundamental purpose of this life, on all levels, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, on all levels, is to live it to the fullest. To experience this concept of this life to the fullest in whatever way, shape, or form you prefer. Then you will be the fullest aspect of the infinite you possibly can be. And will allow the infinite to experience that life in all the ways it can. That is the fullest act of spirituality. That's why it is so important to do what excites you the most. Does this make sense to you?
Yeah, I understand it. Yeah, deep down. Yeah.
All right.
How do
Put
I
it into
find out
action and you will see the result.
How do I find out what my destiny be?
I just told you.
Just follow my spirit.
I just told you. All you need to do to know your destiny, which is self-chosen anyway, is to stay in alignment with the things that excite you the most and act upon them in full excitement. And you will be living your destiny. Excitement is the vibration of your true self. What better destiny could you have than to be your true self? You understand? Thank you very much.
Good evening.
And good day to you.
How many years evolutionally are your race in front of us?
Now, we can give you a figure, but we wish you to understand that this is relatively arbitrary because in many ways you are very equal to us. We are simply different. Our reality vibrates at a different pitch. We have a different rate of time. But if you wish some sense of analogy between where we are at and where we think you will be relative to us, we are approximately 300 of your years in evolutionary future of you.
The reason I ask this, we have a lot of technical problems with our environment. In fact, our technology has created environment pollution.
Yes.
And one of the worst that's hurting our planet is the most is magnetic pollution.
Yes. But this is because you have not learned how to use the electromagnetic field in a natural way.
That's correct. We want to know how you went about it. Did you have the same problem?
No, we never did.
Lucky you. Well, can you give us some advice because this is a very important issue for our planet?
All right. Again, remember that your Earth is already a resonator and resonates at certain frequencies that can be tapped directly by certain non-polluting devices that are built along the lines of what you call natural proportions, golden ratios. All these things are understood by your mathematicians and your physicists. It simply is that not a lot of them are putting this together because, why, it's too simple. They have been taught to think in complicated ways. It is very simple. There are resonators that can be built that tap directly into the electromagnetic field in a non-polluting way just because of the ratio, the shape, the material, and so forth. And these generators, these valves, these siphons, can then be amplified in ways that you can tap the energy off and transform it in a number of ways into a variety of effects, again, without pollution. One style of generator would be a tetrahedral structure, that is, what you would call a three-sided pyramid, but having a base, also being a fourth triangle of equilateral proportions, a tetrahedron, and enclosing within this tetrahedral structure a coil of heavy gauge copper wire insulated in the following way. If you will have an hourglass type shape where you have the top coil at its widest diameter spiraling down, becoming smaller and smaller in diameter until it reaches the bottom, smallest diameter, then stretching out into a large diameter again and going back up, intersecting itself back up through to a small diameter, reaching out and connecting so you have a closed loop. This shape within the tetrahedral structure will act as a resonating device that can then be amplified in a variety of ways to tap directly into what we call the electromagnetic fluid of your planet. And thus you will see the first device that will bring you into a new era, not of electronics, but of etherics. And that will be clean energy for you. Experiment with this idea, and you will discover many ways to tap into that energy.
I thank you very much. I hope this is on tape because I'll have to work that out.
All right. But it does not matter because it is all within the tape of your mind.
True. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good evening and welcome.
Thank you. Good day to you.
And I'm very pleased to be here.
We thank you for co-creating this interaction with us as well.
My question is not about business.
All right.
There were probably several questions.
Yes.
Before I ask the questions, I must say that my family has been invaded by, or at least visited by, extraterrestrials.
All right. Visited is perhaps a happier word.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Approximately 13 to 14 years ago, and it's been ever since that my questions, or at least my inquisitive mind, has been very active.
Yes.
And since then, I've had a lot of experiences, lots of experiences in the areas of visualizing, seeing things that perhaps are most unusual to me as an earthling.
No, right?
And little by little, it sort of came to light that I've come to the conclusion, or arrived at a conclusion, that it said that many millions of human beings are missing from this planet. And it's disturbing me quite horrendously. But what I would like to know is, where do these millions of people from Earth go to? Do they actually get taken by aliens? Or do the Earthlings actually voluntarily go with them?
Okay. Do you wish us to address this now?
Yes, please.
There are many reasons for what you might call disappearances. The idea of the abduction scenario, or what we prefer to call the detainment scenario, is not really responsible for what you would call missing persons. It serves no purpose in that sense to take them, because it serves more of a purpose to allow them to remain on the earth. Millions of people in that sense are not really missing for that reason. Many individuals have experienced certain kinds of energy shifts that shift them into other dimensional states, and they may appear to be missing for that reason. More likely. There is not a large volunteer program of humans that are interacting with an extraterrestrial species. Some humans that are connected to your government on Earth have volunteered to do exchange programs, but they are very few. There are not millions of people missing in that sense. It is simply that their energy has been shifted to the point where they are no longer in the old vibration of Earth, and so you do not sense them in the old way. Do you understand this concept?
Yes, I do. I understand. Thank you for that.
Okay.
We know that something like 25,000 people go missing from Victoria alone per year.
This is again for a variety of reasons,
yes,
not many of which are extraterrestrial in nature, but some are.
And in New South Wales,
yes,
and in all of the states in Australia, all in a percentage, the same percentage scale. How can we explain that? You've just answered me the question. Does that fit what I'm just saying?
It fits some of the cases. Some of them are also simply machinations that go on between members of your society that cause disappearances of a negative sort in that sense. Some of them are individuals who simply take themselves out of your reality on purpose or through what you would call accidents that simply have not been found. Some of them are individuals who shift into one dimension or another because their rate of vibration may shift. Some of them to some degree. Very few are involved in the idea of temporary displacement due to extraterrestrial involvement or other levels of dimensional involvement. There are also many other reasons, but most of those are, in your terms, relatively mundane and have to do with your planet.
Thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
Do our governments know about this scheme?
Some of them, not all of them. Many of them suspect, but only a few of the governments upon your planet actually know all there is to know, at least as far as the Earth's perspective is concerned. Your United States, your Great Britain, certain other small factions of some other governments, but mostly the idea of Great Britain and United States.
Do you have any idea as to why they're not sharing this information with us?
There are several reasons. One, of course, is that they are receiving, in exchange for keeping it quiet, as you say, technology from that civilization. There are positive reasons for also keeping the information quiet, as too much of that information leaking out would have a tendency to destabilize your civilization in a negative way. Economically, politically, socially. The information does eventually need to come to the surface, but only when each of you recognize that you are your government and start taking back more power. When you are then equalized in your own self-empowerment, more of that information can come out instead of allowing those individuals to protect you in the sense of thinking that you need to be protected, that they need to protect you from something. If you communicate with them and allow them to know that you feel capable of handling at least more information, if not all of it, then more of the information can come out. You can let them know it is all right, that you will absorb the information in beneficial ways, and that you can recognize that they are not at fault because you yourselves have decided they should be in the position that they are in. But there is also a great deal of fear involved about what might happen. By being put in positions that they perceive as positions of power, very often they feel that the divulgence of this information may remove them from power, when instead what it will really do is allow them self-empowerment as well. But they do not understand this. But much of the information really would be destabilizing to your civilization if it would all come out at once. But also there are vested interests because of the technology that is being shared. You understand?
Yes.
Does this answer your question sufficiently?
Yes, it does. I have a lot more, but I think it will take a lot longer. I thank you very much.
We thank you very much. If you wish, at this time, you may all enjoy a short break. We will resume contact in this fashion in approximately 20 minutes of your time of counting. Let us allow us to continue with sharing.
Shivai, Bashar.
And Shivai to you. Good day.
Good day. I would like to share with you something that is exciting me very much. Very much. it was a few years ago.
Yes.
I came across something very interesting. It was a system, and the system that how could call it, is connected with the Mayan calendar.
Yes.
And I had my first experience with the celebration of the harmonic convergence in 1987.
Yes.
And now we have the time shift in July the 26th, and previous to that we had a 2-week celebration.
Yes, but July 26th was not the only date of the shift. It actually was one particular point in a longer shift that existed a few months before and has existed for several months after. The shift took place across. The July 26th date was simply a recognition of one nodal point within the shift.
That's right. Now, there is a complex system, and it's leading us to the galactic alignment in 2012, 2013.
Yes.
And I would like to know what participation have you as a triad with the Esosani, our planet, and Sirius? Because the combined energy forms the Arcturus consciousness. So my question is, at what level are you participating, or what sort of light you can shed in all of this adventure we're going through?
Yes. Well, obviously we are participating in the way that you perceive us to participate right now.
That's right.
We are sharing of information in this way and helping to shift the vibration of each individual that interacts with us by reflecting back to them what they already know and allowing them to become more conscious about it. Also, we are interacting with many of you in dream realities very strongly, very strongly. We are helping to modulate now certain electromagnetic frequencies being given off by your planet after such a shift has occurred. And in regard to the shift and our assistance in the modulation of these frequencies, reflecting them back to you to reinforce your higher self, we have positioned our ship approximately 3,000 miles distant from your planet at this time, whereas normally we would be conducting these interactions from the proximity of our own solar system, but now it is important that we be close to your system for a little while. Also, we are aiding and assisting on some levels, adding our energy and our consciousness in some ways to the creation of some of what you call the crop circles, for this is another form of communication to reach your subconscious, your unconscious, your archetypal collective consciousness. And they are ways to decipher these ideas. There are also tonalities that we are creating in our dimension, which are aiding and assisting your dimension, because in many ways, many of your individuals are connected to us, because we are in many ways your future selves. And many individuals in your civilization at present exist in our civilization in the future. And so many of those individuals are having communications with their past selves, even as I am in connection with my past self, which is the channel before you. For I am the channel's future self. So these links and these bridges are formed between many of us and many of you by your own choices, and we simply reinforce them by sending along those channels, those bridges, those conduits, reassurances that you have made it and that you have done fine. In this and a few other ways, we are assisting you in the transformation.
Would you like to expand on the tonalities? Because I think that this is very, very important.
Yes. The idea, again, is that these tonalities we are setting up are certain pattern frequencies to help reinforce certain vibrations within your collective consciousness, the ones that we believe to be most reflective of your ability to shift in positive ways. We are setting up a harmonic that allows your harmonic to interact with it and thus creates a third harmonic that is representative of the kind of reality that most of you say you desire. In creating this third harmonic with you, very often you are finding yourselves more active, more inspired to act physiologically. To some degree, to put this in very colloquial terms in your language, it is like creating an urge, more of an urge within you to stay only on the path that is representative of your excitement and to help allow the vibrations of realities that no longer suit you to work, to help them fall apart more quickly when they are not representative of your excitement, so that you will gain a clearer understanding of exactly what realities are representative of your excitement and which are not. You follow along?
Yes.
Does this help answer your question sufficiently?
Yes, I do. And at an individual level, how an individual wants to accelerate the process of awareness of the planetary consciousness, solar consciousness, and galactic consciousness can use these tonalities in a practical term. How to do that? By means of toning, chanting.
Yes. Every individual has a signature vibration. You know the feeling of yourself when you are quiet and you listen. But again, this harkens back to the whole concept of doing what excites you, because when you do that, you're operating more in the frequency of your true self, and it's easier to hear your true tone and where your individual tone fits into the tapestry of the collective tonality. You follow along?
Yes.
So, again, staying grounded in the physical reality by living your life to the fullest while knowing and feeling your connection to other levels is what will allow you to create that midline vibration that is your true signature vibration and put you in synchronous harmony with all beings on your planet who also choose to move in the direction of their true tonality. Follow along?
Yes.
Does that help answer the question?
Yes, it does.
Thank you.
Yes, and I would like to ask you about pyramid energy. Is that able to assist us as well in this process?
Anything of that nature can, for it is acting as a lens for electromagnetic energy. But remember that all these things that we present to you, as generators, as crystals in that sense, as forms for electromagnetic energy or amplifiers or lenses, are really all symbolic reflections of simply other aspects of your own consciousness and are simply there to remind you as triggers that you have the power within you and not really in those externalized devices. Follow along?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much indeed.
You are very welcome.
Thank you.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
I'd like to talk about world harmony.
World harmony. All right.
Yes. Now, I'm in the process of setting up an organisation, a network worldwide,
Yes.
to bring people together who are interested in world harmony.
Yes.
And in one of your recent tapes called Picking Up the Pieces,
Yes.
you mentioned about the idea that we start setting up alternatives to the system that we already have,
Yes.
economic and educational and so on.
Because you will not change the old system.
That's right. So what I'm interested in doing is really connecting with all these groups that are already here, and I know there are a lot of them already around,
Yes.
and forming a network so they can communicate together, we can assist each other, and get this show really on the road.
Well, thank you.
I'd like to hear from you, possibly some ideas about the Association of Worlds, because I feel I'm modelling it on this idea where it's a matrix, not a hierarchy structure,
Yes.
where each group is autonomous and works by itself in its own way, with its excitement,
Yes. And synchronistically, harmoniously interact with all others that are appropriate to interact with at the moment, to some degree being facilitated by an organizing body that doesn't really rule, but simply helps assist in making connections.
Yes, well, I'd like some assistance in this. And also, from my personal side, I've found I've come to a little bit of a standstill recently.
In what sense?
Well, I've had some physical transformations which have been quite remarkable.
Yes.
And that's been part of it, and I've gone through those and it's come out very excitingly. But what I'd like to know is from you, perhaps, how can I now catalyse this to get the people, there are quite a few already who have shown interest, but nobody's really doing very much and not really coming forward to assist. There are the odd ones, but not many.
Yes. But if it is your vision and you are in the driver's seat, then you must create what you can with what you have now. And also there are a few processes that you also need to go through to clarify a few things within yourself in terms of belief systems and your actions. There are certain slight, just out of habit, just out of being on earth, misalignment still with the idea of intention and action. There are still things that are not absolutely clear as to what kind of opportunity is represented by your intentions that you can act upon. There are a few other processes that will be brought to your attention so that you can clear these ideas out and see whether your intention and your action can be more aligned. But also you must remember that you cannot necessarily proceed ahead of all other individuals who will perhaps eventually fall in alignment with this idea, You have to wait for some other individuals to learn certain things as well if you're attempting to create the kind of network that you are creating, because they must all be ready at the same time to plug in. You follow along?
Yes.
So the processes that you are having and experiencing and the amount of time that it is taking is exactly the appropriate amount of time to allow everyone else to also be at the same place and the same level when it is time to plug in and form the network.
Okay. What I was attempting to do was to really set up a model where I'm living now in Ballarat, was to set up a model organisation there so I could learn about it, how it operates, and the best way to do that. And then it can be reproduced elsewhere for other people inside.
Well, one of the ideas, which is something that we, in combined with the channel, will be, in that sense, producing in near future time, will be specific extensions of the information that we have given to all of you that are being played out, that will be designed to be played out in physical reality to show individuals, not just to talk to them about it, but to physically show individuals how these principles actually manifest in your reality. Specifically, how you can use synchronicity in physical ways to allow yourself to see how you all interact flawlessly when you allow all the filters and belief systems to get out of the way. Many of these components still must be introduced into your society first, so individuals gain more familiarity with how they can consciously work in physical reality in effortless ways before they will really understand how to take advantage of those networks and systems and facilitation agencies that you are beginning to set up in embryonic form. You follow along? There are still many things that individuals do not yet have hands-on experience with that would allow them to take full advantage of such a system, and much more information still needs to be introduced in a practical way that gives individuals the chance to practice these things, the components of the whole idea, before they can understand how the whole idea would work. So, just give it some time, use your creative imagination to figure out how to give individuals a chance to experience components of the whole, and that will aid and assist them in understanding the whole. All right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just on a personal note there, there's a book which I heard you suggest that somebody read, and it was called Right Use of Will. I've read that book, and it's a marvellous book, and it seems to fill in perhaps a hole. There's a book which I heard you suggest that somebody read, and it was called Right Use of Will. I've read that book, and it's a marvellous book, and it seems to fill in perhaps a hole, I don't know if that's the right term, of the reflections that you're giving us.
It is an additional component from another perspective.
What I'd like is maybe a perspective from your viewpoint of how that works. It's to do with really getting in touch with your denials and expressing those in a physical way, and I'm not quite sure how this operates. What does that do? It seems to open up something to your spiritual self.
Again, it is simply a matter of becoming more conscious about whether your intentions and your actions are aligned. The misalignment of your actions and your intentions very often goes a long way to reflecting where you have denials within yourself, or whether you have filtration beliefs going on that are beliefs that aren't yours, that belong to other people that you bought into in growing up. So, the key for us is to gauge the differences or the similarities between your intentions and your actions. And that will put you squarely in touch with any areas that may remain in denial. You follow along?
Yes, basically, yes. I need to play around with it, I think.
All right.
Just a question, you're talking about belief systems there. Is it necessary to go through all your belief systems, or is it only necessary to sort of pick up the main ones and work with those?
It will depend upon the individual. Generally, it is only necessary to hit what you might call the major ones. If you at least bring along with it an understanding that you can have a very major belief system that says that you will allow yourself to experience whatever situations and circumstances are necessary to clear out the other ones when it is appropriate for you to do so in an effortless manner. Generally, the major ones will help begin to unlock all the minor ones. But the more you approach clarity, this is the paradox, the more you accelerate, the clearer you become, the less it takes, the smaller the belief system it takes to stop the entire process. And this is where what might have been a small belief might turn into a big one. Let me use the analogy of the fast-running engine. If you are slow-running engines, you can be quite a bit dirty and still function. If you're a high-speed engine, the smallest particle of dirt will seize the engine up. So the faster you accelerate, the smallest negative belief that doesn't belong there can actually stop the entire process of what you prefer. You follow along?
Yes. What do you do in that case?
What do? You allow yourself the same ideas that we have already talked about in terms of getting in touch with what that belief system might be and learning how to redefine it. To clear yourself in that way. Remember all the ideas we have talked about threshold of believability, about not putting automatic definitions into reality but only defining it as you prefer to, the issues of unconditional trust already being in your life, mostly the issue of learning how to redefine and find out what the definitions are that you have bought into as are shown you by your physical reality. Your physical reality is only a reflection of the strongest beliefs you have. So using your physical reality, living in the now, acknowledging it, owning it, and learning how to transform it by first owning what it is that is happening in your life. Follow along?
Yes.
All those ideas we have talked about all have to do with clearing out belief systems that have nothing to do with you. There are many, many methodologies, much too lengthy to go into here, that we have already discussed and many other beings have discussed with you. Use whatever methodology your imagination feels most excited to use, or let your imagination concoct what would seem to work best for you, because that's what your imagination is for. All right?
Yes. Is it necessary to handle a belief which is something you bought into rather than a belief you created? Or do you handle it in the same way?
Again, it will depend upon the individual. Some individuals have a knack for creating a new belief and having it automatically replace the old belief. Other individuals can't get around the belief that they have to do it another way. Work within your beliefs. Follow your own path of least resistance. Don't force yourself to be overly spiritual and think, well, I can't do it this way, then I'm not spiritual. If I can't instantaneously transform and do it this way, then I'm not spiritual enough. Follow the path of least resistance and work within the beliefs that you have. In other words, to put this again on a pragmatic level, yes, all right, if you have a health issue and you say, well, I should be spiritual enough to just transform myself back into a state of health without having to go using any medicines or anything of that nature. At the same time, if you really are honest with your own self-communication and you say, I really do recognize that I have a strong belief, and it would be the path of least resistance to abide by the belief that taking this little vitamin C will actually make me feel better, then working within that belief system may actually be the path of least resistance, and you are still using your beliefs anyway. So, just be honest within your communication of yourself about what is really necessary to do, and don't force yourself to go beyond the easiest route for your belief systems to take.
I think the feeling you get is if you do that, then you're sort of doing something less than you perhaps could do.
Yes.
If you've taken the vitamin C, you maybe think, well, maybe I could have done that without doing
Yes, but that is a part of the idea of judgment and denial.
So do you transform that belief by taking the vitamin C? I mean, how do you go forward?
Yes, by allowing yourself to follow the path of least resistance in the beliefs that are already there and owning them, then you give yourself the best opportunity to transform them more smoothly later in a similar situation.
Understood.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Aloha, Bashar.
And good day to you.
Margaret, I'm going to ask you a very personal question.
Can you speak up so that all
Sorry,
may hear you?
I'm going to ask you a very personal question.
All right.
It may apply to others too. One problem for me is, and I'm just in the last couple of weeks consciously working with the idea that I can help and share in some sort of work with beings like you. The fear that comes up in me that stops me from doing things is that I worry about people that might get left behind.
Left behind?
No, I mean, this may not make sense rationally, but the fear is that I'm deserting someone that could...
Deserting whom?
By progressing or by doing something.
Deserting whom?
The other people,
What other people?
The people around me, the people of the earth.
The people that you are not helping?
That's right.
Do you not trust perfect timing?
I don't know. Sometimes it just seems like a mental image to me. It doesn't
You cannot
feel
take
real.
responsibility for other people's choices.
Right.
If you do, then you're not helping anyone, even yourself.
Right.
You must trust the timing. If you have a particular service to perform, you must trust that whatever way that manifests, if you are really following your joy and your passion, then whatever way that manifests is the way that represents how you can be of best service to all beings.
So the message for me really is to be it, what I feel is right, where the excitement is for me.
Yes.
And that is how I best serve everyone.
You will
Including
serve
myself.
everyone by doing the best you can to be the best you can be.
That's right.
That's the only way to allow others to see in you the shining example that they can be that way too. But if there are individuals who never come across you, they will get what they need somewhere else. You cannot take responsibility for other people's choices. Otherwise, you are disempowering yourself and disempowering them and not being of service to them.
Yep.
You follow along?
I do, actually. I mean, I've known it, but I still
Yes,
haven't
you must trust the timing of your particular life event, and that you will reach exactly and precisely who you need to reach.
Okay, thanks. That's a great answer.
Thank you very much. Now, one moment. Don't go anywhere.
Okay.
There is a female spirit that can help reinforce this understanding of compassion and love within you in a more positive way. Simply ask, and that being can help you in your dream state. All right?
Okay, I think I know who you mean.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye, Bashar.
Good evening, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Oh, really wonderful to be here. You've been in my living room many times with another group of people. I've got a bit of I've been clearing a lot of things, including death, in the last couple of, 6 months.
All right.
Recognizing I had created it and I had to uncreate it.
All right.
There is still one thing that really puzzles me.
Puzzles you?
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
I've had psoriasis, which is a skin disorder,
Yes.
since I was a little baby.
Yes.
Now, I don't know really why. Have I still got a particular thought pattern, or what am I still repeating? I don't know how to clear it.
One moment. Is there some particular place upon your planet that you would prefer to live other than where you are living now?
Yes, in the mountains.
When will you go?
That answers my question. Thank you.
You will find that certain attributes of the things that exist there will help aid and assist and smooth out some of the ideas you are experiencing within the expression of your skin. The expression of your skin functions as the dividing line, the barrier between your inner world and the outer world. In some senses, you are connected to other realms and you feel a little bit alien and out of place in the earth realm, and therefore you are viewing the idea of the skin as a war zone, as a barrier that's chasing on you a little bit to be in the reality that you are in. You need to place yourself in an environment that is a little bit more like the environment that you are used to, the vibration you are used to, and partake of the things that grow in that area to allow them to aid and assist your physiological being in healing itself in that way. You follow along?
Excellent. Yes, I do.
Also, there is some idea of the heat in the metaphorical sense, the fever of your brain, the fever of your thought, that is causing also some of this idea of the expression of rash in your skin cells. Allow yourself in the mountains to feel a little bit cooler, more nurtured in that sense. A little bit more of the idea of moisture in your skin, in your cells. Allow them to feel replenished, not dry.
Mm-hmm.
Allow yourself to understand that energy goes through you coolly and does not burn you out, does not dry you out. All right?
Okay, excellent.
When will you go to the mountains?
I think it will be soon. It's been something I've been contemplating to really just sell up and...
All right.
Yep.
If that is really where you wish to be, then you must understand again, all of you, that when we say do what excites you the most, every single component of that must be there, including the place that would be the most exciting place to be doing the thing that excites you the most. Otherwise, you haven't got the whole picture.
Indeed, yep. One curiosity question.
Yes.
How old do you get on your planet?
The average age is about 300 of your years.
And is that increasing
It is not so much increasing as it is that our civilization is phasing from physical to non-physical reality. We had no need to extend the lifespan beyond that. It is simply that we are changing our structure so that we are no longer as dense as we used to be and are moving into non-physical beingness, as your civilization will sometime around approximately the year 3000.
At that point where you have then evolved to a higher level of vibration,
yes.
If you wish, could you come back to a planet with a physical form?
Yes.
Okay.
If it serves a purpose, yes.
Mm-hmm. Or just for the experience of it?
That's the purpose.
Indeed. One more question. The device you were talking about before.
Yes.
Nikola Tesla has already devised that sort of
variations of this, yes, variations.
For us to look back in his studies, in his findings, will we find the application of this?
If you are allowed to find all the studies, yes. But not all the studies are being allowed to you.
Are they being kept by the government?
Some.
Mm-hmm.
And some by private interest. However, you always have the ability to access the same information. All you really need to do is get into the vibrational resonance of the idea of that individual, and you can function on the same wavelength if you will allow yourself to be as bold.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Greetings again, Bashar.
And for you, good day.
I have a question to ask on behalf of somebody else, actually, in regard to a modality called educational kinesiology.
All right, educational kinesiology, yes.
This is not directly my question, so I would appreciate it if you could direct it to the person it's intended for. I assume you can do that. In regards to structuring of belief systems, changing of belief systems and the like.
Yes.
And the modality itself and the progression of it to its fullest. Would you comment on that, please?
The idea, again, is to understand that the mechanism we have described in mimicking what you see in your vision, is one of the strongest ways to allow yourself to utilize the physical reality, physical motion, physical action, to put you squarely into the vibration that you need to be in. You can understand that telepathy is actually telepathy, and in this way is very strongly connected to the concepts behind kinesiology to some degree. For in this way, if you will find an individual that is already reflecting or exemplifying what it is that you feel you want in your life, and in your own way, you get as close as you can to the body language of that individual, you will find that you will start having the same thoughts and the same kind of life. Because you will be processing information, raw information of the universe, in the same way, through the modality of your mind. It is not that you are reading the other person's mind, it's that you're creating the same thoughts at the same time by allowing the idea of your motions and your actions to be of the similar vibration to that individual. This is the root of the idea, to some degree, of what we would perceive to be kinesiology. You are allowing individuals to get into certain states of motion, of physical activity that are representative of the vibration, of balance and health. You can utilize individuals who are in balance and in health to allow that vibration to rub off on you, through association in that way. That is one idea. There is also an energy component, a more direct energy component. You have what you call an etheric body, so to speak. You can allow yourself to utilize the etheric body as a template for what you might call the idealized state of the physical body. You must remember that your physical body is the last stage of your consciousness. Your consciousness does not exist in your body exists in your consciousness. So what you have to understand is your larger self, your electromagnetic spirit self, and allow that to function as a template. See the body dissolve back into that electromagnetic fluid and recrystallize upon a new energy template that represents the idealized state, and bit by bit, through that kind of envisioning of the blue-white electromagnetic light, the body can be recalibrated, rescanned, recrystallized back into a more flexible state of being, a clearer state of being. Will this do?
I think so. Further to the work in Sydney on the weekend, I awoke on Saturday morning to two visions. and thank you very much, and rather bizarre dreams. I would like to enhance these and any extraterrestrial communication that will occur in this life, in dream state, whatever manner is available, including mental communique. I would seek some insight into the second vision when I awoke, which I was able to sustain for the first time, which was what appeared to be a roof of a room or a corridor that was bubbled. That was a soft bubble feature. I can't describe it adequately. And the second, or the first vision rather, was of light streaming into the room, a literal golden white light with no window apparent, and the sun had only just risen the opposite side of the room. Could you give some insight into A, the nature of visions and the nature of these visions and the communicate with extraterrestrial life forms with this particular life I'm living?
In 25 words or less?
If you'd like, yes, or a paragraph.
Right. The nature of vision generally is you tapping into your higher knowing self and seeing the overlay from the oversoul's point of view, the knowledge of your own self-chosen path, and how you may choose to act that out in physiological terms. In dreams, you very often plan the specific physiological actions that you will have in life. Very often when you overlap, you allow yourself the knowledge that you have done this, you have what you call a deja vu experience. Your visions, 1, 2, the golden light is an indication of a vibrational level that you are connected to that might loosely be termed angelic in nature. You have had excursions there, ecstatic excursions in your dreams, shooting yourself up to that level, drinking deeply of that golden liquid light, and then allowing that to buoy you up, sustain you in your physiological understanding of how you plan out your physical life. The bubble experience, the bubbled room in that sense, the corridors, is to some degree a mental interpretation of something that is not literally that way. But you were visiting a craft of sorts. But seeing consciousness manifestation, almost like seeing the atomic structure magnified in the craft because you were seeing it etherically. You had different magnifications going on in that encounter. You understand?
Yes, I think so. Yes.
If you will remember a bubble, think of the vibration of that bubble in the same feeling that you experienced in that particular vision. It will be a type of resonant vibration that will help key you back into the concept of extraterrestrial consciousness that is pertinent for you. This is all we are allowed to say at this time.
So I suppose it's pointless to ask if there's any extraterrestrial guides with this life at the moment.
I have already told you that there are.
Sexuality.
Yes.
Planet, homosexuality, heterosexuality, and whatever sexuality.
Yes, we have discussed this to some degree.
There is an issue of it within my life in regards to the balancing of that.
Yes.
And the projection that I carry of previous circumstance onto other people. I would A, seek some insight into the balance of that, and B, seek some insight into how to, and I think you've already addressed this, but I feel I need to hear it again, draw a lover of choice into one's life, be it heterosexual or homosexual.
All right. Again, the issue of balance is that much of the state of the kind of expressions of sexuality that exist upon your planet exist in the way that they do, primarily because of the denial of the balance of the male and female within each and every individual on your planet. This is again not to say that any one expression is right or wrong. This is not a judgment. This is just an observation of the idea that your planetary system and the individuals within it have been out of balance for quite some time with regard to the idea of the golden marriage within themselves that can be there. And thus they can express within themselves a sense of completeness, which then will be a vibratory resonance, which will attract another individual to reflect that sense of balance and completeness within themselves. And that is how you attract such an individual. You follow along?
Yes.
You can use in your particular case as some guidance, as some assistance, again, golden bell-like tones of that golden liquid light and balancing the angelic self, which to some degree is a little bit of an androgynous idea, but with a little tiny bit of that balance will actually aid and assist you in balancing the polarity of sexuality that exists within your physiological realm.
You mentioned recently blocks actually being opportunities or arrows,
yes,
etc. in regard, if you see a sense of lack in your life, perceived lack or whatever particular block, and you wish to work with that, what would you deem would be an appropriate manner to do such, i.e., there are certain things in my life at the moment I sense I lack, therefore I would seek to use the opportunity and work with it.
Well, again, the idea is to help yourself find out what kind of a definition of reality or of that particular situation you would have to have in order for it to manifest in the way that it's manifesting. When you start a meditation about exploring your belief systems, you will generally be guided or led to certain aspects that are buried within your unconscious or subconscious mind that have to do with why you are not manifesting what you wish to manifest. For example, let us say if an individual finds that they do have a sense of lack with regard to abundance in their lives, they may, in examining their belief systems or definitions about abundance, find out that somewhere in their life they bought into the concept that all rich people are people who have mean dispositions, and therefore they don't want to be mean, so they also don't want to be rich because they're associating the two energies. When you find out what the definition is that you have and realize you can be rich without having to be mean, then you can redefine the whole concept of abundance and allow more of it in your life now that you have allowed yourself to clear the old definition. You follow along the analogy?
Yes, to a point.
Oh, right, to what point?
As I was talking before about projections
to
other people now, it has occurred to me over the last 3 or 4 years within various physical relationships or desires in that regard that I carry things over. Therefore, I get to a point where I can say, okay, there is a point of lack here. I'm choosing not to see something for what it is.
Can you be specific about the lack?
Yeah, the lack of a relationship in my life, i.e. a love. That is
all right.
What I deem a main conflict at the moment.
Well, there may be many fears within you about what it is that you would actually become should you have such a reflection in your life. Let me ask you this question. How does it serve you to not have one? What does it teach you about yourself to not have one?
What I've been noticing of late in my circumstances is I'm noticing a greater sense of freedom. Now, what from, I'm not sure, but I feel freer in some regard.
All right. If you can get a handle on your definitions of freedom, then you may find that you have one within you that is allowing you to think that the only way to be free is to be in your terms without a relationship. Allow yourself to expand the definition of freedom, and you may find that that will allow you to include things in your life that you do not have now and still allow yourself to be free in the way that is important for your particular vibration to be free. You may have encountered certain things in your reality that taught you that to be involved in a relationship was limiting, shackling, imprisoning, and so forth. Ringing a bell?
Yes, thank you. So would it be suggested at the moment the areas I'm working with in regards to lack and denial, I'm pursuing correct areas?
You may need to get in touch with some deep emotionality that was not allowed to be expressed as a child with regard to certain things that you were shown or encountered. And in getting in touch with that deep emotionality, releasing it in the sense of allowing yourself to express now what you're not allowed to express then, and being in touch with the definitions that perhaps you felt were forced upon you in an early time, with regard to the idea of what relationship actually means to you. You can redefine it completely.
This is point blank issues with myself and my mother and our interaction earlier on in my life.
Yes.
So I'm going again. All right. So I'd like to welcome you into my dream state and whatever manner you desire, and bless you to work with me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and pleasant dreams to you.
Thank you.
One moment. There is something in the smell of lilac that will help trigger old issues and help you bring them to the surface so you can deal with them. All right? Thank you.
Hello, Bashar.
And good day.
I am Patricia.
Oh, all right, if you insist.
I'm a little overwhelmed with having the opportunity to talk with you tonight.
Whelmed over. All right.
I was encouraged by my neighbour. Thinking of comments you made earlier, 2.5 years ago, I followed my excitement and backed my intuition to develop skills as a teacher of sacred dance.
All right.
It gave me great joy and great meaning for life.
Yes. Sounds exciting.
Within a few weeks,
completing the training, I was diagnosed as having an incurable disease.
Oh, all right. Of what nature?
Parkinson's disease.
Oh, all right. Another kind of dance, perhaps?
Absolutely. My comments are, can you cast some light on why I would have created such an illness in my life?
Precisely the words that need to be said, because light is what needs to be involved. Allow yourself to realize that certain kinds of light must be administered through your eyes into your brain to allow there to be some synchronization to take place within the hemispheres of your brain. Also understand that you have given yourself an opportunity for a new kind of dance to illustrate certain things to different people in different ways. Different groups of people you need to interact with to teach them. The brighter that you can burn, the smoother you can be. You need to accelerate your body consciousness even more. Do the dances that you can do, and allow the dances to take you to the realm of vibration that will allow you to burn as brightly as you can, and you will see these issues smooth out for you very, very much. But you yourself must become the crucible of fire that melts and dissolves all the issues of limitation within physical reality. You have been this kind of a fire dancer before, and you can be this kind of burning bright fire dancer again. You have this capacity within you. You must burn as brightly as you can. You understand?
I hope it's in the tape of my mind. My love and deepest thanks. Thank you.
One moment. How do you feel when you do the dance? What happens to your heart? What happens to your solar plexus? And what happens to the base of your neck?
I haven't thought about the solar plexus and the base of my neck. Exhilarated. I feel divine energy flowing through me.
When you do the dance, feel not only your heart, but your solar plexus and the base of your neck. Feel the support that is there for you. You are actually being, in a sense, energized and supported by very loving hands. Let them guide you through the dance, and in that way you will find that your movements will take on a different kind of life, and that will also assist you. You follow along?
I do indeed.
All right. Happy dancing.
Thank you.
Yes, greetings, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Recently, or this year, I've become very, very fascinated, excited by the crop circles phenomenon, which is mainly in England.
Yes.
And I've got good reason to believe that they're created by extraterrestrial energies.
Only in part.
In part, I know.
It is an orchestration of many different energies, some of which has to do with your earth consciousness itself, collectively speaking.
And I was wondering how people could interpret them, what you might
All
think
right.
they mean.
We have recently given one interpretation of one of the formations. That which you may recognize as the formation that is 3 radiating circles with an equilateral triangle and a different kind of structure, mostly circular, on each point.
Yes.
Are you familiar with this?
Yes, I am.
Then recognize this. The center circle is the knowing self. The second circle, the ring, is the spirit self. The third is the physical world, thus creating the trinary system of personality construction of belief, which is the open circle, emotion, which is the circle with the radiating lines, and action, which is the circle that is stepped, spiraling inward back to the center of self and completing the circuit and the cycle. Understanding that particular formation in this particular interpretation will give you a clue and a handle as to how to interpret some of the other ones. But they can be interpreted tonally, vibrationally, mathematically, in many different ways. Look at the order in which they appeared, look at the ratios, understand them energetically, magnetically, their orientation, their alignment. Musically, they can be understood tonally, many different ways. Allow yourself to be in touch with the idea that it is a part of your collective earth consciousness, a part of your future self, a part of your past self, extraterrestrial consciousness, other dimensional consciousness, angelic consciousness, many different things. Going into the partaking of that particular artistic, creative orchestration.
Thank you. Are you able to say, just lastly, how they're created?
Yes.
The process that is
through a
involved?
manipulation of the electromagnetic energy that exists upon your planet, in association with high vibratory resonance, a raising of the pitch, and the imprinting of an etheric glyph, an etheric archetypal expression, or a cross-section of a higher dimensional self, as it would be appearing to you in three-dimensional terms. It is a shadow of a higher form. All of them are shadows of higher forms. Look into the other dimensions to understand them. Fold them in upon themselves. See how they overlap and interlink, and you will understand the higher forms. But they are created on electromagnetic consciousness. Spirit, actual spirit. High vibratory resonant spirit, which is simply electromagnetic fluid.
Thank you, Bashar. It's most interesting.
Thank you.
Good evening, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
I was hoping you might enlighten me.
Hoping?
Hoping. As to why I have so much uncertainty in my life.
I don't know.
Fair enough.
Why do you think? What are you uncertain about?
Mostly, I seem to know the direction I am heading in my chosen career of music.
This is what excites you the most?
It seems to do, yes.
All right. What are you indecisive and uncertain about?
The exact steps to take. I see the end result, but the steps to getting there seem to be dreadfully difficult.
Dreadfully difficult.
Seem to be.
All right. Do you remember what we said about acting on the thing that excites you the most at any given moment, whether it appears connected or not?
Yes. I feel you have probably answered this question tonight already.
Yes.
But
you'll ask it anyway. All right. Well, I have really answered it. What do you think is missing from the answer for you? Do you simply not believe it can be that easy?
Possibly my belief system. There's a flaw somewhere.
A
where I'm
flaw.
not believing in myself.
No, there is no flaw.
No?
There is simply a choice. That's all. A choice to believe in this, choice to believe in that. Remember, our definition of doubt. Doubt is not a lack of trust. Doubt is a 100% trust in a definition you don't prefer. That's all it is. All you need to do is choose what you do prefer to trust in, because you're always trusting 100% in something. All you need to do is act on the exciting thing at the moment, trusting and knowing that it must be, by definition, because of the excitement, connected to the overall vision that excites you in life. And therefore, the steps will be fewer and will be effortless. You are making them grueling by adding more detail than needs to be there. Picking them apart, little tiny step here, little tiny step there. I need 1,000 steps to get there. When in fact that 1,000 steps might be 3. If you will simply follow your excitement and your joy in all directions from which it comes, rather than just assuming that it has to be appearing in some way that is connected to the idea of your music. It is all music.
Yes.
When you learn how to play music in other areas, it can help assist you in playing music in the one area that you specifically wish to express it. You understand this?
I do, thank you.
Does that act as a sufficient answer for you?
Yes. I feel I already knew the answers, but I seem to need to hear it from you.
All right, but you didn't hear it from us. You heard it from your higher self.
Yes, I believe so.
All right.
I thank you.
I thank you.
And I wish to extend my love to one and all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good evening, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Good day. Bashar, the values you've been talking about tonight, values of emotion and feeling and trust and unconditional love.
Yes.
Are they the values your civilization espouses? And this?
How could I be sharing them with you if they weren't?
Well, maybe they could be values that your civilization believe we need in a transitional state, in the Earth's transitional state at the moment.
But we can only share with you the ideas that we know work for us, knowing that they will also work for you if you wish them to. But all we ever express to you are the qualities exactly and directly and precisely of the nature of our existence, for that is all we know.
The reason I'm asking is because there are many entities being channeled.
Yes.
And it was raised earlier this evening about particular groups that, as you explained, might possibly treat us as we treat our animals.
Yes.
Because maybe they don't understand and unwittingly are causing fear and pain here. And they're using fear to control. So
But they are using your fear to control
fear,
you.
yes,
Yes.
control for their aims.
Well, and for yours to some degree. To some degree. You see, the more laughter and light you bring into those interactions, the less fear there will be for them to use and amplify. And then you'll be more conscious in the interactions, and they will welcome that as well. Also, they will have no choice.
So therefore, your civilization, of course, being our future, is as mutually dependent on us as we are on you.
Yes.
Is your civilization the only possible evolutionary destiny for the Earth planet?
No, no, no. Our civilization is not the evolutionary destiny of the Earth. You have your own future destiny. We are your future selves in the sense of another reality. You might wish to say it is a incarnational reality that some of you will actually choose to be reincarnated upon our planet at a future time, and we represent much of the idea of the general energy that you are moving in, but we are not literally, directly, linearly your future Earth. Although there are many aspects of our civilization that are similar to the Earth that is contemporary with us.
Right. Well, then that leads straight to the next question.
Oh, all right.
Where is our progress past your civilization?
Purpose? Your purpose is to constantly create forever and ever and ever and ever without end in all the ways that you desire to. That is the only purpose to existence. To exist in all the ways it can. But remember that purpose is secondary to existence. Existence does not need, in that sense, a purpose to exist. It exists because existence is the only quality it has and doesn't know how to be anything else. Therefore, purpose in that sense happens within existence. And any purpose would simply be that existence experiences itself in all the ways it can for no other reason than the fact that it can.
So there are a great many diversities of energy on this planet at the moment with a great diversity of possible options.
Yes, but each of you will choose a vibration and eventually will experience only that vibration. And you will take yourself, shall we say, to the earth, the variation of the number of infinite possible earths that exist that is representative of the vibration you prefer, while those of a different vibration will experience a different earth.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
I'm very excited to be sharing here with you today.
We thank you very much.
First question I have is about my baby son.
All right.
Before he was born, my partner and possibly I were contacted by some beings in the dream state who
Yay.
expressed interest in this boy. And since he's been born, we felt he has sort of an alien quality about him, very positively.
Well, many of your children now do.
Can you add insight to that?
Many of your children are, in a sense, shall we say, now this is a loose terminology, being processed by what we call the Arcturus gate. This is a vibration that assists them in remembering more of their connections on all levels. They forget less of who they are as a total being. Of course, that would appear somewhat alien to the way your society has been functioning.
Okay. Another question.
Yes.
Some of us wanting to change society from a patriarchal into a more balanced way of being. And we've read some channeled information that we've been able to relate to, but the exclusive language, mankind, like that, is sort of, well, we've found a bit of a block about that.
Oh, all right.
So we thought, could you tell us about why still this language is being used when we prefer to...
Why it is still being used? Well, how should I know? It's your language. Create the language you want.
Okay.
Create the vibrations that you feel are more representative of the vibrations you prefer to live in. At the same time, allow yourself to relax your mind with regard to the labels.
Yes.
For the idea is that if you react to them too strongly, you are actually anchoring yourself in that reality. Learn how to respond rather than react.
Yeah, definitely.
Does that help you?
Yeah, it does.
Well,
More for
thank
a
you.
partner, actually, than me. Another question. I really like to have more contact with Palladian people.
Pleiadian.
Pleiadians, yeah. Can you tell me how I can get more in tune with these things?
If you will imagine in a meditation what you would call a blue background with 7 stars upon it, that will be the proper vibration to reach them.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I also like to share a song with you from our planet. Conscious love, we can change our world. Conscious love is unconditional. Oh, I do, I can feel the call. That this conscious love and life is the message for us all. Oh, eternal plan unfolding. We realize our oneness, feel it gently growing, ever flowing lightness. Conscious love, we can change our world. Conscious love is unconditional.
We thank you for your sharing.
Good evening, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
I'd like to ask a personal question.
Oh, all right.
Since I've been meditating, my ears have been ringing
Yeah.
very loudly.
Yeah.
And so much so sometimes it sort of stops me dead in my tracks.
Oh, all right.
And what insight?
Allow the vibration in. It is simply you recognizing the tonal differences between the reality of the past and the reality of the future. It is the recognition and the sensitivity to the increase in pitch in your signature vibration to some degree. Allow it in. Allow it to wash over you. Allow it to transform into an emotion, into a feeling, into a thought. Simply you recognizing the tonal differences between the reality of the past and the reality of the future. It is the recognition and the sensitivity to the increase in pitch in your signature vibration to some degree. Allow it in. Allow it to wash over you. Allow it to transform into an emotion, into a feeling, into a thought. Explore it in all of its manifestations rather than just thinking of it in terms of sound. If you allow it to wash over you as a pure vibration, it will take you places and allow pictures to ignite in your imagination that heretofore you had not believed were possible. You can use it in that way. You follow along?
Yes.
So allow it to increase your meditation in a sense by transforming it into other variations of energy in your imagination. Does that help you?
Yes, thank you. And also the other day in a meditation, I got this name, and it was Monvalo. Can you give me any insight into that? It's come twice in the last week.
One moment. This is a combination vibration that represents to some degree you moving into your future self. One moment. It is a guidance principle for you to some degree. It is similar to some ideas, sounds, vibrations, rituals that you did in other lives, past lives. One moment. It is an echo. One moment. To some degree, it is also connected to Dalton consciousness. A little bit. One moment. To some degree, it is also connected with young feminine energy. One moment. It is connected to the creation principle. In terms of the division of cells in the body to some degree, it is a primal vibration of that sense, procreation in that sense, and might be an indication of the beginnings of communication with beings that are connected to you in ways that reflect mother-child relationships. It is also a connection of an archetypal communication within yourself. One aspect of your consciousness talking to another aspect of your consciousness. to form an integration, a reintegration to some degree. It is a few other things as well that we cannot go into now. Will that assist you?
I've also got another question.
Yay.
This is one of my friends. What areas are the most powerful for healing in Victoria and southern New South Wales?
Anywhere that you are. Now, there are energy vortices that do have a certain pulse. The primary pulse of your landmass is the formation that you call Ayers Rock. In this way, it will be a regulating pulse. But there are a number of vortices around. One moment. Is there a place that you have allowed yourself to be attracted to that lets you feel at peace more than any other place in your local area? Is there a certain environment?
Yes.
Describe, define.
The mountains.
Any particular spot?
Falls Creek.
Why?
I don't know.
Yes, you do. Why? How does it make you feel?
Oh, peaceful.
Then that is an indication of how to find the spot that might, at the moment, be most representative of your particular signature vibration and might allow you to be more in touch with your higher self and thus could be said to be working better for you. But anywhere that you are, you have that spot within you. It is just an idea of energy. If you are a healer, then you are a vortex and a connection to other levels of consciousness and other levels of vibratory energy, wherever you are. You follow along?
Yes.
Does that help?
Yes, thank you.
One moment. If you will also perhaps think, just as a trigger, just as a reflection, of an octahedral amethyst crystal, the vibration of that idea within you might also assist in guiding you to the proper vibration to help align you for healing. All right?
Thank you.
And also perhaps the flute. Thank you.
Thank you.
At this timing, we will once again extend to each and every one of you our deepest appreciation for the co-creation of this event. We thank you for being reflections, light, facets of the multidimensional crystal of your reality, and allowing us to reflect back to you the light that burns within each and every one of you, individually and collectively. You are dreaming your reality right now. You might as well dream the one you prefer. It is up to you. We thank you. Our unconditional love, joy, and excitement are with you. Pleasant dreams and good day.